This is Louis Perez
Jason Brennan.
and this is the MAHS podcast. And today we're here with two new students. We're gonna have you guys introduce yourselves, and then we're gonna have Mr. Brennan ask you guys a couple questions.
I'm Drew Reed. I'm a senior. I'm Drew Reed. I'm a senior.
I'm Mariana Gomez Cruz, or Ari for short, and I'm a sophomore.
All right. So, how's your guys' morning going so far?
Very tiring. Very tired.
It's going all right. It's a normal day.
What do you guys have first and second period?
I have Mr. Goodrich Honors Math. Yeah, oh wait. And then I have Miss Yudi for second period.
I have Miss Gonzalez first period for honors MRWC for math, and I have Miss Udy for guided studies to do my college course.
Louis Perez, you got any questions?
So I understand you guys both play sports. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the sports you play and why you guys play them.
I do football, wrestling, and track. I do track because some of my other teammates wanted me to do it. I wrestle because I enjoy it, and I play football because I've been playing it since I was 5, and I really enjoy that too.
I'm playing cross country currently, and I'm thinking of joining track. When the season comes around, I was playing softball last year, but I didn't like it. I run for cross country because I really like it, and it's a really good community, and it's just like a good way to stay fit. And track, same reason.
Is there a certain person in your guys' lives that motivated you or made you want to do these sports, or did you guys just like, oh, I want to try it out, and you just happen to like it?
Well, I got bullied into joining cross country in middle school. My friends wanted me to do it because they're like, "Oh yeah, cross country," because we had a teacher and he's our coach, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys should do cross country," and I'm like, might as well try it. And then my dad also kind of, he's like, "Oh yeah, you should try out a sport," and I'm like, "Okay, I like running. Why not?"
My dad really encouraged me to do sports since I was little. I played a lot of sports. I started with soccer, didn't really like it. I played baseball, and when I landed on football, is the one I really enjoyed, and that's why I kept playing it. I played lacrosse, and then I wrestled in high school and did track.
Um, Ari, tell me how a daily cross country practice goes.
Well, at the beginning with we all like get into Mr. Max classroom and change and whatever and do our crazy things, and then we go down to around where the weight room is and do our normal stretches. So stretch out the legs good and the arms. Normally do like a warm up lap or like a mile or two, and then it depends on the day. Normally, we go on the weight room, do a little workout, or do a trail. We go to Mount Lagoon sometimes, or other hiking trails that Mr. Heineman just says that we should do. So
What are crazy things?
there's a lot of inside jokes in between the team. Like once the team is together, there's a really strong bond, and there's just like a lot of weird jokes and a lot of weird things that happen because it's all mainly boys. There's only like 6 girls in the team, so that's what crazy stuff.
So, if you would have to if this episode was used to show like new students coming into high school like that don't play sports and don't like have very many friends, what would you say to them? Would you say that they should try out cross country and try out sports because it can lead them to have new friends?
In my opinion, cross country is a great sport to start out with because it can be really easy, or but once you get into it, it's hard because it's a lot about you're running miles. You're like stuck inside your own head for 30 around 30 40 minutes on just running. But it's really good because the community is really good. Like a lot of different schools also cheer us on, and we do it to other schools too. The team is very welcoming, no matter if you're a freshman or not, or like a senior barely joining in. It's very welcoming, and it's not so hard compared to like what football training would be. So it's like a great way to start out sports and just getting to know the school and the people.
So, Drew, what would you say is a day-to-day football practice? How would you explain a day-to-day football practice?
On a normal day, will start. The receivers will go down and kind of warm up and work their drills, and we'll start with defense, work through all our defensive stuff, and special teams, conditioning, running, make sure we're all in good shape before the game, and then we'll run all our offensive plays, and that's about it. We'll go home.
Would you say the coaches say kids some kids on the football team say they like did something bad that like they didn't listen to their coach, they're talking back. Do the coaches take disciplinary action like making them run extra miles or make them do extra things?
So like yeah, if we screw up, we'll do some depending on what it is. If you're like talking back to a coach, he'll probably send you on a lap or two, just to try to get to stop or whatever. But like yeah, if we screw up like on a play or something, we'll do like a couple up downs and get back to it or whatever, just to kind of yeah, if you call disciplinary action, yeah.
So I heard the coaches they emphasize heavy on grades. How important are grades for to be on the football team?
Well, one, it's good to crack down on grades because if your grades are low, then you can't play. So when we don't have a big school or a lot of players. We need is all the players we can get. So if they're getting taken out for not being eligible, it's not helpful to the team. So trying to get them to get their grades up is just helpful for the team overall.
Anything for me, Louis Perez?
I just want to ask, would you guys consider playing any other sports? More specifically, Drew, for you, would you consider playing baseball? And for you, would you consider playing maybe wrestling or football?
So yeah, I've thought about playing baseball, and if I wasn't doing track, I might consider it. I've played it before, and just for me it's not as fun for me because I like contact sports, and track is kind of just like a relaxed kind of off season thing I just do to be around the people that are in it.
I mean, for me, like winter season is more of like my break because I'm part of the student council and I also like doing a lot of clubs, so that's my break. And I don't really like soccer or basketball or any of those. And then for spring, I tried out softball. I love baseball and softball, but I just don't like the coach at all. So I'm trying out track this season.
So you said you were part of the student council. How does that affect your schedule? Does that make yourself more busy or how do you feel being on the student council like cuz I know other students they do FFA, they got other clubs that they do and it really takes up a lot of their time. Like how does being a part of the student council affect you?
I mean, already having a sport, it's a lot because you're spending like 2 3 hours just on practices, and I'm the president of my student, so it is hard. It's a lot of running around and a lot of like scheduling, like when can we have meetings, when can we do this, when can we do that. Especially like last week on homecoming, I was running a lot. I had to talk to my teacher, to my coaches, and I'm like, I can't come to practice today, or like I have to leave practice early today because I need to do X, Y, and Z. But it's just a lot of running around. Like once you get the schedule done, it's a lot, but like it gets easy. You learn to manage.
Drew, how would you say FFA um affects your schedule and like if you were to do other clubs like if you do any other clubs, does that affect your schedule?
Yeah, it affects my schedule, and FFA doesn't really I don't do much like competitions wise until like springtime. I don't really do any of like the judging teams or anything. So like the only things I really go to are like some of the banquets or stuff towards the end of the year, and I'll try to help out where I can. And also, I'm raising a steer for fair, so like after practice, I have to go work with him and make sure like I get him ready for fair, make sure he's taken care of and stuff.
Ari, does you do clubs, am I correct? Um do the clubs do you feel like there should be more clubs or do you feel like we have a good amount of clubs that could I mean, like how do you feel on the clubs? Do you think we should have more?
I mean, I feel like there's a pretty good like amount of clubs. Like more would be great, but it's the people. There's only so many people that come to so many clubs, and a lot of people do sports, and a lot of people don't have rides or they don't have the time to go to clubs because like I do baking clubs on Tuesdays when I have the chance, and I do the and Wednesday I do what do I do Wednesday? I forgot. Oh yeah, I have theater club on Wednesdays, and there's only like on theater club there's only like 5 kids, and it is a new club. But like for baking club, that one's also full all the time. So I like it's more about like people coming into the clubs. It's not like having more or less.
Louis Perez.
Do you believe that maybe the lack of certain clubs might bring the school spirit down, or could there be clubs that we could bring that could help us bring the school spirit up and make everybody a little bit more accepting of our school? Because how do you guys feel about it?
Uh, I know school spirit is definitely an issue that people feel. People definitely feel that the school spirit's down. For example, like the dress up day, only a few people will actually dress up that aren't in ASB or kind of more encouraged to. And like in most schools, that's highly encouraged and stuff, and not as much in this school. And I think it should. I think the school spirit should come up. So I mean, if you're talking about clubs that could raise school spirit, we could definitely get a club that just focuses on school spirit and dressing up and encouraging people and going around. And I think ASB is starting to do a better job of doing that too.
Yeah, ASB is definitely like going up on their game this year. Like it's definitely a change compared to last year, but like clubs are different because like you're either I feel like there's a clear difference. Like you're either really athletic and you do sports, or you just chill around and do like clubs. But like again, there isn't like much clubs around the school, and I feel like that's because they aren't as advertised. Like with Mr. Ed Nair, he's doing robotics, some type of stuff. But we honestly, it's just like a chill space. It's just a safe place for on Thursdays where people just like come down, and me and a friend do buttons, and we're thinking of starting to sell them around the school. So but like and it's Mr. Etnier, like he can offer whatever, like, oh yeah, I want to build a robot, and he can be like, okay, you can do this and that. I can help you with like, but I don't feel like it'll bring the spirit up necessarily.
Talking about school spirit, does our school isn't the best compared to schools down in town. Do you think if we had like the opportunities that kids down in town had, like if we had like a really nice school, like we had FFA, like our own barn over here, if we had like if we had all these things, do you think that would raise the school spirit up? And do you think like more people would be at football games, more people would be at cross country meets? Or how do you guys feel about that?
I mean, with like cross country meets and sports like that, when they go to away games, it is a little difficult. But like, I feel like if the fields were a little nicer, because I know that the football field kind of sucks, and also the track around the football field kind of sucks, and that affects the track kids and the cross country kids, because you kind of want an even place to run and be able to do your sport. And if the like the bleachers or whatever, if it were a little nicer, maybe it would, because like a lot of people complain about the buildings falling apart, so maybe it would. um but with all opportunity, like big opportunities, like big events, if we had those type of things, I still feel like it will be hard, because a lot of events like this, a lot of kids don't show up because they can't, because of things like outside of school, or they simply don't care.
Like improvements on the school would definitely, I think, help. So a lot of people either are just disinterested in most things around the school, or they complain because it's not what they want or it's good enough or whatever. And I know the school's working on getting new things, like, and they're rebuilding. Like the middle school just got rebuilt and stuff. I know eventually the high school will get rebuilt, but it just takes time. And the football games, people are showing up. Like I know we have a student section this year, and I think that's actually really cool. And they're cheering us on a lot more, and I think that's really helpful. But just get more people interested, maybe.
Having that student section, having like lots of people, I've seen like the parking lots are completely full. Nobody can like even park there anymore. People are parking on the dirt. Um, does having student section, all these kids cheering for you, does that affect how you play? Does that make you want to win more? Does that make you want to perform better?
I think it does boost like the morale of the team because we haven't been playing the best this year. We definitely could be playing better, but it definitely like if we're losing, it's definitely encouraging to keep playing when you have people behind you cheering for you.
Louis Bread.
No, it's funny that you brought that up, the whole cheering thing, because we were talking about that in second period, Miss Heather there. So you believe that because she was saying that when we start to lose, people will get quiet, because we all start losing our our morale and all that, and so you believe that if we had more, say, more entertainment out in the football fields for you guys, and we were hyping you guys up more as a crowd, you feel like it would boost the whole team's morale a little bit, and you guys will play a little bit more better as opposed to starting to get quiet when we start, going downhill.
Yeah, like they've definitely been encouraging with that student section. Like our last game against Maranatha Christian, we were down. I believe it was 13, 12 to like 22, and it was fourth quarter. We came back and scored, made it 20-22, and we ended up losing. But it became a really close game because we were playing bad in the middle of the game, and we started to turn that around. They were encouraging us the whole time. I think that was really helpful.
Mr. Brennan.
You guys you guys know how there's a cheer team for our school. You know, they go to your football games, cheer at the football game. Do you think the cheerleaders should cheer at other sports, or do you think uh because this is a small school that just football is just okay?
It could be. I mean, if we had that many people to definitely like, if you wanted to cheer for maybe basketball, if the basketball players felt like that would be helpful for them, 100%. But the other thing is too is those cheerleaders also most of them play other sports in the winter, so I don't know how that would affect their numbers or whatever. But coming from me, like the football cheerleaders, they're encouraging, but I can never really hear them on the field. They just one they're facing. They're kind of for the crowd too, get the crowd going. But I can never really hear them, so I don't know how that would affect. I mean, basketball they would be closer and it would echo more. So I don't know if that would help them or not.
How do you feel, Ari?
Well, I heard from a friend that's also she's on the JV team for the cheerleaders. She said that maybe they're gonna start doing it for the basketball ones, but again, it's more about people coming to the games because the cheerleaders are more for the crowd because in between the games, I am guessing that it is really hard to listen to all the cheering and whatever. But it would help, I guess, and it would help bring more publicity to the other sports like soccer and basketball, and in the spring sports like baseball. It would help because I feel like there's a lot of attention in football, but there's also some other great sports that don't get as much attention as they should.
Yeah, cause my coach, which is also Drew's dad, said that he had a cheerleading team for his wrestling team. I think, which is actually pretty cool. Anything from you, Louis Perez?
No, how would you guys feel about a cheer team while we're out wrestling? Because you two well, all three of us are wrestlers. How would you guys feel about that?
I think it would definitely be interesting to have. I mean, we usually have a great crowd for wrestling, especially last year. We're starting to pull in more numbers and get more popularity with our sport for sure. I mean, I think definitely cheerleaders would be an interesting addition to our wrestling events and at our school. As we had a lot last year. I think we had like 8 home duels plus a home tournament. So yeah, I think it would definitely add to maybe even increase the popularity a little bit.
Yeah, I think cheerleaders would be a um good thing to have for a wrestling team. Just to, like boost the morale of even though our crowd at football wrestling meets are they're really vocal, make them even more vocal. Um and I think we could really do something with how we take part in the rallies sometimes for wrestling. My idea is just like why not just have like a real wrestling match between two kids, like instead of a tug of war or nothing like that. I think a real wrestling match would be cool.
So we actually had a really funny idea in ASB. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. We had an idea to have because we have two Ricky the Red Hawk costumes. We have two of the mascots wrestle against each other. I thought that would be pretty funny, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. That was a funny idea that me and Hunter came up with.
Well, who do we got to talk to about this idea? Because I'm kind of on board with that. That sounds pretty wicked, man.
Yeah, so that'd be Mr. Still if you want to maybe encourage him to do that. He's pretty open minded. I think that's why ASB is getting better too. He's pretty open minded to the ideas that we have and stuff like the rally. That was a lot of that was student input. It was mostly he's pretty like he just encourages us to do things and he lets like Jonay and Naomi like take control of that because they're the president, vice president of ASB. They kind of encourage people to do stuff. We built. I think it looked really nice and it was had people more get more like hyped up for the rally. I think it was pretty cool.
Okay, so Mr. Sills is gonna see this. He watches the videos, so and we'll go talk to him in person. If we can push this, would you guys be down for something like that? Would you, Mr. Brennan?
Absolutely. How about you, Ari?
I would love that. Like, um, I would do wrestling, but I had a medical condition last year. I could not do it. It's not my sport. But I love the community. It's absolutely great. It definitely needs more attention. So whatever helps out you guys, I can get people to cheer you guys on.
Thank you. What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think people would love that, and them we got definitely got more excited. A lot of positive feedback towards the rally that we just had for homecoming, and if we did that for the winter rally, which I think is what usually January, January. Okay, that's the like mid wrestling season. That's like the big kick up in wrestling season where we're doing a lot of competitions. We're going places, tournaments. A lot of big tournaments are in January and next month would be the start of CIF. So if we had like even put two wrestlers in costumes and have them wrestle, I think people would love that.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with this. Is there any more ideas that you guys want to get out and let's bring out for the podcast? Because people in positions that are people that watch this podcast are in position to help us with whatever you guys want to say.
Yeah, we have like we as being a part of ASB, we have a lot of ideas and fun stuff we try to come up with. Another idea was to have wrestling versus basketball in basketball, see how that would happen, or wrestlers versus basketball players in wrestling, and just the two different sports have a friendly competition and whatever, or even dodgeball or something fun. People get excited about competitions and being a part of a sport definitely makes you competitive. So that'd be fun. Some make sure people don't get hurt though.
Some attention to other sports would be absolutely great, especially in rallies. Now that Mr. Sills is running it, and like Drew said, it was way better than last year. There was way like more spirit in there, and people cheering on to whatever. Like it will be great to bring more attention to whatever other teams there are around that don't get as much attention. Yeah.
Me personally, I think Mr. Sills, he the fact that he lets students bring their own ideas and he uses them is a great way to evolve the ASB class. Cause with some people they just stick to their own ideas, and you can't do that because you need to see the whole picture, and other students have all the other sides of the picture, which can bring a lot to like a rally or a rally or an event like don't bring everything but a backpack day, like stuff like that. That's cool. Anything from you?
No, I can certainly agree that Mr. Sills is running it pretty well. I like you said, I like the fact that he takes into consideration what us as students have to say. Because I've heard for a long time that the students are the voice, and to have somebody like Mr. Sills listen to us and take into consideration what we have to say, I really dig that. And I respect him for that, Mr. Reed.
So yeah, on top of that, he started something that like especially in ASB, like we can consider all ideas. Like, don't just immediately shut somebody down because either like they maybe didn't explain it right or they like take into consideration all ideas. Like for the dress up days, we had a bunch of ideas like listed on the whiteboard, deciding. And I actually thought they were really funny. Like the dresses, the student teacher swap. I thought that was hilarious. Stills dressing up as Aiden Lockhart with the wig. That I thought that was pretty funny. And I tried to dress up as Coach Prince, and I know I definitely saw a lot of teachers try to dress up as students. Mr. Burnett looked like a kid. Alex, I actually thought was a kid at first. He did pretty good. If he would have shaved, he probably would have. Everyone would have thought he was a student. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I like how the communities bring back together, like they're together. Sorry, how like the communities are like more together now that there's like more student input and there's more opinions instead of just like the three main like I don't like the three main leaders. It's just like the whole classroom.
Yeah, definitely. Having more people bring shed light onto a single subject, like bring more ideas to dress up days or events. Definitely brings more of the ASB, like the meaning of ASB, like the students, like the student body, like that's the point of ASB. Anything from you, Louis?
No, no, not really. I just, I agree with what you guys are all saying. Let's go ahead and ask you guys. Do you guys have any questions for us? Is there anything you guys want to ask us? Mr. Reed, we'll start with you.
Uh, Other than just like, what is your guys' like main goal for this podcast? You guys have a goal for what you want with the people or who you put together and how you kind of run these? Do you have like a set goal for these?
Well, that's a good question, Drew. Yeah, actually, we talk about this very, very frequently. Our goal here is to, just get students like you guys, and and shine light on some of the stuff that we talk about. Like here, how you guys were saying, like you're saying with the crowd out there, and how yeah, when they help you and start cheering, that helps you guys, and the input that she had to say with the clubs and everything that she was talking about, everything just getting students like you guys and giving you guys a platform to speak because like I said, people are going to see this and people are already talking about it, and I guess that was kind of our goal, Mr. Brennan.
Yeah. Our goal is basically to shed light on these things that the higher ups of the school really don't see, and this is gonna be shown to the higher ups because it's our senior project, and Mr. Sills wants to show ours, especially to give other students an example of what theirs should look like right now. But yeah, our goal is just to shed light on the you know some things that students have, some grievances like like the bathrooms or like some buildings, or clubs, like Ari said. Like yeah, ours is just to really shed light on all these little things. Do you have a question for us, Ari, or no?
How do you guys pick like the students to interview? Like, do you target a certain like type of student or like?
Usually, sometimes we're mostly like just walking around, seeing if we could see students. Sometimes we plan it the day before, like, cause we still need to talk about homecoming, cause we were gonna do a pre homecoming interview, but our time got taken up on Friday before homecoming, so we couldn't do that. So now we have to do a post homecoming interview, cause I took some videos at homecoming asking people how they like it, and they said they really liked it. So the way we choose our students to interview is like what they have to bring. Like, do they do sports? Do they are they really smart? Do they have like that 4.0? Are they going to a great college? Are they really involved with school, ASB, student bodies, any of that? That's how we choose our students. But sometimes we choose the some quiet ones, and they have a lot to talk about, which is also very cool. Anything from you, Louis? Louis?
No, exactly what he said. That's literally how we just walk around, and if we see somebody, we'll take into, consideration how what we've seen this person will, we'll bring in all the aspects that this person has, and we'll be like, all right, what can we talk to this person about? What will they bring for us? And and then we'll get another person. We'll get somebody maybe that's completely opposite of that other person. Maybe we'll get a quiet person, somebody that's really loud, and we'll see sometimes that they kind of work together and they bring different aspects to the podcast, and it just yeah, it works sometimes, and other times it might not. But I was really interested, like he was saying, with the quiet people. They have a lot to say. I didn't know who you were at first, and when you started opening your mouth, I was like, all right, well, she has a lot to say, and I was very interested. And so I really appreciate Mr. Brendan for recommending you. Is there any more you guys would like to ask us?
What I said is, it's a great way to bring light, like you guys said, on some maybe some issues, maybe some good things on the school, and kind of get everybody's opinions and to put them out there for people to see and for kind of maybe even bring people together. Like, oh, this person has the same view as me, or I didn't know that about this person, or so on and so on. I think it's great.
What about you? All right, Mr. Brennan.
And we also like to shed light on like the the sports and like I'm hoping that students like freshmen or like middle schoolers that are coming to high school will see these podcasts and see like how sports have changed other people because some people will say like FFA. We had a FFA episode where FFA changed some people's lives where it's like now they have something to look forward to when they come to school. They have a bunch of friends now. They have like kind of like a family bondish, and it's a lot of fun talking about that because like I'm hoping that other students will see that and they would want to join these things. So we would have like a more people in these activities.
Yeah, definitely. FFA is definitely one of those communities where you just feel accepted. I came into FFA during COVID. They encouraged me to raise a steer, and I just kind of said, "All right, yeah, I'll try it out. I'll do it." And I went to fair. I took care of the steer the whole year. I went to fair with it, and then during COVID, it was only one day. Normally, you stay there the whole week, but since COVID regulations and all that, we were just there for the one day to show and took a picture for auction. The auction was online, but I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun to show and try to do your best and even maybe even win. But and then you make some profit off of your steer if you do well with them. So and then later that brought me into more into FFA as sophomore year. I did it again, and then they were like, "Hey, let's go to project competition," which is you show off your AET project, which is your animal or your shop project. And I went to that, and I liked that. So like, hey, you should go to go more things, go to competition. So I went to a last year. I went to a judging competition, and I went to a state conference, and it's getting more exposure to FFA, and I really enjoy it, and I think it's awesome.
What do you have to say to the students that are too scared to join something or like to that are too afraid to ask like can hey, how do I do this like how can I join this like the students that are like you don't see like being very social like what do you have to say to them like
So definitely, like I've seen with like some of the quiet kids definitely like join wrestling, or they come to love it because maybe they don't have the best home life or they don't have a lot of friends. But a lot of people definitely consider sports like wrestling or FFA to be like their family, and I think that's awesome just to have for somebody. And if someone's looking for that, like a community to belong to, sports and FFA are definitely something. And FFA has a lot of opportunities for those kind of things. So they have different things they do. For example, like animals, or you go judge, or you have speaking competitions. It's like speaking competitions help you like be even maybe help you become social or start talking to more people. And there's a lot of things you can do, and it's great for people. And I encourage everybody to join something.
Ari, what do you have to say about kids that are too afraid to like go to after school clubs or like join like cross country or track and all that what do you have to say to those kids
Even though it's like a small school and everybody seems intimidated, the like I want to say most, if not all, the communities, all the clubs, all the sports, they are really, really welcoming. When I came into last year as a freshman, when I came here, I was like, it's intimidating seeing the mix of like freshmen and seniors and sophomores and juniors. It's like really intimidating, but like just do it. Like my point of view is just like just try it out once. Like there is no harm in it. Like I tried wrestling, didn't work out for me, but at least I tried, and it's a great community. It's very, very accepting, no matter if you have an issue at home or you have an issue with something else. Like the most communities are really welcoming, and generally you shouldn't be fearing that, or what if they judge me? No, they won't. They are really welcoming. They're really nice. The coaches, the teachers, they are extremely welcoming, and I that's what I like about joining the that's why I joined sports, because like with cross country, the community is really nice. We went to race once, and it was an invitational one, so there were it was Calexico and Julian and another school that I don't remember, but We had 6 girls in our team, and I think only five raced that day, and there were two other girls, and that was it. Normally, it's like a whole row of girls, but no, we didn't even feel it. It was really small, and we huddled up and we invited those girls over from another school that we're competing against, and we invited them over and just like huddle up and like did our cheer, and it was like really nice, and it's really welcoming, and it's like a great confident boost. Like with cross country for me was a great confident boost because it's you're running against yourself, so it's like really easy to, instead of competing with somebody else, you're competing against yourself, so you're just trying to break your own record instead of trying to break somebody else's. So they're really welcoming, and the same thing with like other sports. I'm sure it's really welcoming communities and really easy to join up. It's just having to join. It's just taking that first step.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Like, you're running against yourself, and there's definitely people that are supportive for with cross country. Um, if there's nothing else, we're gonna close up. Do you guys have any more questions, or would like to get anything out? No. Well, Lou, you want to close this off?
Yeah, we just want to say thank you guys. This is Louis Perez,
Jason Brennan.
and this is the MAHS podcast. Thank you, Mr. Drew Reed. And I'm sorry, your name is? Thank you very much, Ari. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you later.